Chapter 10, Section 3, The Byzantine Empire, pages 484 to 489. Focusing on the main ideas. The Eastern Roman Empire grew rich and powerful as the Western Roman Empire fell. The policies and reforms of Emperor Justinian and Empress Theodora helped make the Byzantine Empire strong. The Byzantines developed a rich culture based on Roman, Greek, and Christian ideas. Locating places: the Black Sea and the Aegean Sea. Meeting people: Justinian, Theodora, Belisarius, Tribonian. Content vocabulary: Mosaic, Saint, Regent. The rise of the Byzantines. The Eastern Roman and Byzantine Empire reached a high point in the AD 500s. At this time, the empire stretched west to Italy, south to Egypt, and east to the border of Arabia. Greeks made up the empire's largest group, but many other peoples were found within the empire. They included Egyptians, Syrians, Arabs, Armenians, Jews, Persians, Slavs, and Turks. Why is Constantinople important? In the last section, you learned that Emperor Constantine moved the capital of the Roman Empire from Rome to a new city called Constantinople. Constantine's city became the capital of the Byzantine Empire. By the AD 500s, Constantinople had become one of the world's greatest cities. One reason for Constantinople's success was its location. It lay on the waterways between the Black Sea and the Aegean Sea. Its harbors offered a safe shelter for fishing boats, trading ships, and warships. Constantinople also sat at the crossroads of trade routes between Europe and Asia. The trade that passed through made the city extremely wealthy. Constantinople had a secure land location. Residing on a peninsula, Constantinople was easily defended. Seas protected it on three sides. On the fourth side, a huge wall guarded the city. Invaders could not easily take Constantinople. Influence of Greek culture. The Byzantines at first followed Roman ways. Constantinople was known as the New Rome. Its public buildings and palaces were built in the Roman style. The city even had an oval arena called a hippodrome, where chariot races and other events were held. Byzantine political and social life also were based on that of Rome. Emperors spoke Latin and enforced Roman laws. The empire's poor people received free bread and shows. Wealthy people lived in town or on large farming estates. In fact, many of them had once lived in Rome. As time passed, the Byzantine Empire became less Roman and more Greek. Most Byzantines spoke Greek and honored their Greek past. Byzantine emperors and officials began to speak Greek too. The ideas of non-Greek peoples like the Egyptians and Slavs also shaped Byzantine life. Still, other customs came from Persia to the east. All of these cultures blended together to form the Byzantine civilization. Between AD 500 and AD 1200, the Byzantines had one of the world's richest and most advanced empires. Emperor Justinian. Justinian became emperor of the Byzantine Empire in AD 527 and ruled until AD 565. Justinian was a strong leader. He controlled the military, made laws, and was supreme judge. His order could not be challenged. Justinian's wife, the Empress Theodora, helped him run the empire. Theodora, a former actress, was intelligent and strong-willed, and she helped Justinian choose government officials. Theodora also convinced him to give women more rights. For the first time, a Byzantine wife could own land. If she became a widow, she now had the income to take care of her children. In AD 532, Theodora helped save Justinian's throne. Angry taxpayers threatened to overthrow Justinian and storm the palace. Justinian's advisors urged him to leave Constantinople. Theodora, however, told him to stay and fight. Justinian took Theodora's advice. He stayed in the city and crushed the uprising. By doing this, Justinian not only restored order, but also strengthened his power to rule. Justinian's conquest. Justinian wanted to reunite the Roman Empire and bring back Rome's glory. To do this, he had to conquer Western Europe and Northern Africa. He ordered a general named Belisarius to strengthen and lead the Byzantine army. When Belisarius took command, he reorganized the Byzantine army. Instead of foot soldiers, the Byzantine army came to rely on cavalry, soldiers mounted on horses. Byzantine cavalry wore armor and carried bows and lances, which were long spears. During Justinian's reign, the Byzantine military conquered most of Italy and northern Africa and defeated the Persians in the east. However, Justinian conquered too much too quickly. After he died, the empire did not have the money to maintain an army large enough to hold all of the territory in the west. About 3 years after he died, much of northern Italy was lost to an invading tribe of Germans. Justinian's Law Code. Justinian decided that the empire's laws were disorganized and too difficult to understand. He ordered a group of legal scholars headed by Tribonian to interpret and reform the law code. The group's new simplified code became known as Justinian Code. Officials, business people, and individuals could now more easily understand the empire's laws. Over the years, the Justinian Code has had a great influence on laws of almost every country in Europe. Byzantine civilization. From the 8500s to the 1100s, the Byzantine Empire was the center of trade between Europe and Asia. Trade goods from present-day Russia in the north, Mediterranean lands in the south, Latin Europe in the west, and Persia and China in the east passed through the empire. From Asia, ships and caravans brought luxury goods, spice, gems, metals, and cloth to Constantinople. For these items, Byzantine merchants traded farm goods as well as furs, honeys, and enslaved people from northern Europe. This enormous trade made the Byzantine Empire very rich. However, most Byzantines were not merchants. Instead, they were farmers, herders, laborers, and artisans. One of the major Byzantine industries was weaving silk. It developed around AD 550. At that time, Byzantine travelers smuggled silkworm eggs out of China. Brought to Constantinople, the silkworms fed on mulberry leaves and produced silk threads. Weavers then used the threads to make the silk cloth that brought wealth to the empire. Byzantine art and architecture. The Byzantine Empire lasted approximately 1,000 years. For much of that chapter in history, Constantinople was the largest and richest city in Europe. The Byzantines were highly educated and creative. They preserved and passed on Greek culture and Roman law to other peoples. They gave the world new techniques in the arts. Justinian and many of his successors supported artists and architects. They ordered the buildings of churches, forts, and public buildings throughout the empire. Constantinople was known for its hundreds of churches and palaces. One of Justinian's greatest achievements was building the huge church called Hagia Sophia, or Holy Wisdom. It was completed in AD 537 and became the religious center of the Byzantine Empire. It still stands today in Istanbul. Inside Hagia Sophia, worshippers could see walls of beautiful marble and mosaics. Mosaics are pictures made from many bits of colored glass or stone. They were an important type of art in the Byzantine Empire. Mosaics mainly showed figures of saints or Christian holy people. Byzantine women. The family was the foundation of social life for most Byzantines. Religion and the government stressed the importance of marriage and family life. Divorces were rare and difficult to get. Byzantine women were not encouraged to lead independent lives. They were expected to stay home and take care of their families. Despite this tradition, women did gain some important rights thanks to Empress Theodora. Some Byzantine women became well educated and involved in politics. Several royal women served as regents. A regent is a person who stands in for a ruler who is too young or too ill to govern. A few ruled the empire in their own right. Byzantine education. The Byzantines valued education. In Byzantine schools, boys studied religion, medicine, law, arithmetic, grammar, and other subjects. Wealthy Byzantines sometimes hired tutors to teach their children. Girls usually did not attend schools and were taught at home. Most Byzantine authors wrote about religion. They stressed the need to obey God and save one's soul. To strengthen faith, they wrote about the lives of saints. Byzantine writers gave an important gift to the world. They copied and passed on the writings of the ancient Greeks and Romans. Without Byzantine copies, many important works from the ancient world would have disappeared forever.